Okay, so welcome everyone. This is Jim Sporer with ISSIP, and this is our third Wednesday of the month cadence calls for the ISSIP Credential and Curriculum Program, and we're working on the 100 Question Study Guide. And just to give the big picture of this, and there's like 5 or 6 people who couldn't make the call today, and Yasi was one of them. She asked me to record, so I'm making this recording and we'll share it with everybody. And I'll do a recap so all the new people joining will be able to understand as well. The timeline is we want to launch this in January of 2027. So we've got several months still to get this done. Our intermediate goal is to have 100 question study guide. So 100 questions about that stuff that we think a service innovation professional should know by August, because then we're going to have some student teams starting to help us to finalize the work. So to get to 100 questions by August, where are we right now? Well, we've got about 3 questions, but and I'll review those in a minute. But let me just go ahead and start sharing some documents. I see something in the chat. And apologies to the people who didn't have this on their calendar, or I didn't get the information to join soon enough. Like I say, there's about 5 people who I know wanted to join but weren't able to join today. But thank you, Antonio, for joining, and thank you, Christine, and thank you, Michelle, for joining. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. This is the primary document that outlines the timeline and our approach to building the study guide, which we got from Terry Griffith, who suggested that there's so many Coursera courses out there related to service innovation professionals that we should first begin by identifying those courses that are relevant to service innovation. So this document right here, which I will share with everybody, and I think I've shared with most people, has uh, identified lots and lots of Coursera courses. And um, and we're not just interested in Coursera courses, LinkedIn courses, IEEE courses. If there's it just has to be a course that's online that we can study, that we know is relevant to service innovation, that students could sign up for and take. Coursera has so many, that's our starting point, but it could be anywhere. And since Antonio, you're here and you did your homework, I want to just share with you, everybody on this call. So Antonio found a LinkedIn learning course on service innovation. He also found one from this person in Santa Barbara, California, on managing innovation that looked relevant. There's this Carnegie Mellon University course on introduction to design innovation. So, so uh, we're open to other courses that are relevant to service innovation. And this document right here is the document I've been using to accumulate them all. And I'll just go back to the top. Um, let's Let me just share like a couple of the others that are super relevant. So for example, service design is a big topic. I know and user experience design. I know Yasi will be keenly interested in those because she's the executive director of UC Santa Cruz's Silicon Valley's um, human computer interaction, and they focus a lot on both of these. So if you click on this, you can see, there's Google courses on user experience and lots of other courses that are out there on Coursera. So we did the mapping, got that done. And now the assignment for this week, which Sachin and I did, was to come up with a question, a detailed example question in a template format. So uh, all the assignments going forward are going to be, please create a question for the study guide. And here's the first question I created. It's a little complex, but I'll step you through it. So question 1, definition of service. Context. ISSIP certified service innovation professionals should be able to define the concept of service concisely and clearly from a service dominant logic perspective. Now, Antonio, as you pointed out, your book in the first chapter gives all the many definitions of service. Um, since service has been defined in different ways by different groups over time, especially economists and more recently computer scientists, the distractors should include those alternatives to increase understanding of the historic progression and importance of the definition of service. So, what is ISSIP's definition of service? I think we used to have a web page that Ralph Badnelli created that described this, but I'm not sure. I haven't checked it lately. Option one is correct. Service is the application of resources, e.g., knowledge, skills, tools, processes, etc., for the benefit of another. And then it's got a link out to the service dominant logic reading where that is the definition. So then there's the incorrect, option two, three, four, five, incorrect. We're thinking it'll be five question multiple choice. And obviously, these will be scrambled. There'll be more incorrect variations over time because we want custom study guides. Intangible products. And if you go out to this, they define service as intangible product. Anything of value that cannot be dropped on your foot. That's kind of a funny, a funny alternative definition. One people use. A lot of people define service as the largest sector of the national gross domestic product and labor employment of advanced knowledge intensive economies. And again, there's a reference that gives that definition. Um, the residual sector of national economies, excluding primary production from extraction, agriculture, mining, and manufacturing. And that's the same one. So then here's the references for the various options. And so obviously a study guide should, when people get it right or they get it wrong, there should be places they can go to find, information about the right answers and information about the wrong answers. And those could be other Coursera courses, or they could be papers or whatever. So I'll pause in just a minute, but I want to show you and here are the related online courses from Coursera, as well as Professor Marcus Varg, who's one of our ISSIP ambassadors. He has a free online course, and 300 people have taken his course so far. It's a certificate for service dominant architecture professionals, and it also has these alternative definitions of service, including the service dominant logic one. So a learner using the study guide, uh, hopefully, they could either memorize it and be done, or they could actually study these and learn a lot about the many definitions of service that have existed over the years. So now I'd like to just turn to Seichen's questions. There's only two here, so we're almost finished with this part. And again, I'm showing you these in detail because this is our primary going forward. If you want to help with this project, contribute questions. And so he had question one. He's an expert. Sechan Ragpatrini. Ragpatrini is an expert in AI in healthcare who's a participant in the ISSIP community. And his question one was on foundations of AI in healthcare. Which of the following best describes a key way AI is transforming clinical workflows in healthcare? Replacing all clinicians' decision making with automated systems. A. Supporting diagnosis, treatment planning, and documentation through data-driven tools. B. C. Eliminating the need for regulatory oversight in digital health. D. Restricting access to patient data to only non-clinical staff. And the correct answer, of course, is B. The others are kind of uh, why. Foundational courses emphasize that AI supports diagnosis, treatment, documentation. Foundational courses, and then he's got the courses right here. So there's a Coursera course on foundations of AI, and he actually, went out to that course and created a summary of it. So he's going kind of above and beyond. Sachin is great. He's going above and beyond. He's researching these Coursera courses and the AI in healthcare, and he's doing summaries of those courses. That may be useful in the study guide to the students. Um, So again, this is a helpful question. And obviously once we get up to 100 questions, we can keep going. And we should keep going. We should keep creating more and more questions, and I'll come back to that in a minute. His question two, AI for medical diagnosis imaging. What is a common application of deep learning in medical imaging? Generating synthetic billing codes for insurance claims, detecting pneumonia from chest x-rays and tumors for MRI scans, automatically assigning hospital staff schedules, encrypting all PACS images for long-term storage only. And the correct answer again is B, detecting pneumonia from chest x-rays and tumors and MRIs. And why? And he gives the reason here. And then he gives courses that are relevant. So this is where we're at, is we're mining the existing courses that are out there for questions and creating multiple choice with distractors, working to get 100 of these. I will mention a couple other things. Um, I'm working on kind of a high level design, and I think, Christine, this goes to your point where some of the questions are going to seem more academic, like for service research scholars. Some of them are going to seem more like service practice related to different job roles. Some of them are going to obviously be AI related, because AI is transforming all the industries and businesses. So getting the right balance in these 100 these 100 questions is something that we're working on, and maybe it's a little bit too complicated to share with just the general audience, but people who really, really understand service innovation will understand uh, this picture. Um, that Haluk and I and various other people created to summarize let's see, where is it? There it is right here. Okay, so this is called the Systems Discipline Matrix for Service Science. And across the top, you see different types of systems. So these are the industries, right? Systems about the flow of things, like transportation systems and supply chain there. Michelle will be happy. Water and waste, food and products, energy and electricity, information in the cloud, and then systems that support people activities, buildings and constructions, retail, hospitality, banking, healthcare, right? Say Chan stuff, education, and then systems that govern city, state, nation, laws, security, stuff like that. And then on the disciplines, you've got all these academic disciplines like customer, provider, authority, competitor. Well, marketing studies the customer, right? The provider is operations. Each of these connects to a discipline, and eventually the 100 questions should span. Some will be more related to industries. Some will be more related to academic disciplines that study service science and service research. Um, but uh, and and again, like if you think about service design, because I know Yasi has emphasized the importance of service design, that's a huge one uh, for a lot of people who are interested in becoming a certified service innovation professional. And I'll just say, it's in the original document, but we have. I should show you what I mean by the original document. Not that one. This one that we discussed last month. This original document suggests that the study guide will cost people $100, and becoming certified, which will take somebody's time because we want a person to certify people. You book an hour with a person who can certify you once you've mastered the material. You spend an hour and the person will quiz you. And if you pass, and that costs $500. So we're thinking $100 for your unique study guide, which you can't share with anybody. You're bound by your ISSIP code of conduct not to share it with anybody. But once you master it, then the coach, you can pay $500, and the coach will go through and make sure you really understand it all and give you the thumbs up after the hour. And obviously you can take it as many times as you want, but if you're not prepared, it could be very expensive. So, so that's the idea that we're working towards. And see if I missed anything here. Again, everybody gets a unique study guide because some people are more interested in some things and less interested in other things. So we're going to have custom study guides. Um, let's see
So,
if there's
so Jim, this is excellent. I really like the taxonomy that you provided, in that picture. I think that
yeah,
would be a good the guide uh, for us to really establish a pool of questions, so that we can customize them for the learners, right?
yeah,
Depending on their interest and on their professional, professions, and all that.
great.
So yeah, that was actually one of my questions as you were like showing us the examples of the questions. Um, and then I was thinking um,
Hey,
for
Christine,
yeah
just one thing before your second idea. So wouldn't it
yeah
be cool if there was a version of this that maybe was a little bit more understandable to the average person and they could click on it and it would take them out to all the Coursera courses
yeah
or
make it
online courses?
interactive, right?
Yeah, an interactive study
Yeah.
guide with all the things.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep,
yeah. That I think that would be at the end. I think we that would be a map that we should interactive map that we should create.
yep.
Yeah. Second question, really quick. I know we are out of time. Can we actually use AI, leverage AI to help us kind of generate uh different questions for different industries? Because as the two examples in healthcare, we can do the same for like say energy or whatever. But then they may it depends, right? For if for people who is in the energy utility industry, then they will not get questions for healthcare. So certain questions, like basic questions, we can kind of repeat that for all industries, right? What AI can do for each industry, right?
Yeah.
But then we need to go deeper. So then I was my question is, can we actually leverage AI itself to help us generate those questions?
Yes, we can, and that is the plan after August when we get the students involved. And anybody can use the AI earlier. Like I was thinking, should I just generate a bunch of questions with the AI because I can check them really fast? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll probably do that, Christine, before the next meeting is have AI generate some. So yes, it's okay to use AI to generate things. The reason we want to have 100 though, before 100 high quality ones before we
Mm-hmm.
have the students start using AI is, as you know, the quality of your input determines the quality of your output.
Oh
So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
if
Yeah.
we don't have a bunch of good ones, then the AI kind of won't really know what should happen. But very encouraging. About two AI collabs ago, there was one called creating an ISSIP intro to ISSIP course. Actually, let me go out there. Why am I not just going out there? So we did an experiment with AI in an AI collab where let me see, I got to move some windows around. Um, ISIP news. Great question, by the way, Christine. Great questions. And I'm glad we're getting them recorded. So if we do ISIP news, oops, why am I not? Who would like to use? Sure. You know where I am. ISIP.org. Okay. Okay. So if we go out to news and we type in AI collab, um, there was one we already did with, uh, actually, let me see. Um, why is it not searching? Um, oh, here we go. Onboarding participants. Right here, this one. This has a curriculum already, and but it's for onboarding people to ISIP. And the students created an instructor-led course with PowerPoint, and they also created an AI-driven course. This AI-driven course, Christine, was fantastic. I couldn't believe how good the AI was at taking one of our generic questions that we had for
Mm-hmm.
onboarding to ISIP and saying, make this relevant to a student of industrial engineering, or make this relevant to an executive in an IT company, or make this
Right.
relevant to somebody from supply chain. It was like, that's one of the things generative AI is really, really good at is
Mm-hmm.
generating examples that are relevant in a language to a particular, um, you know, learner. So
Yeah.
yes, I think once we get the 100 questions in the study guide and the students start using AI to generate them for different, maybe we'll have like a student version and an executive version and a, you know, whatever, we'll have a few
Yeah.
categories of persona, and then they
Right.
can generate versions of the questions that are relevant to those persona. And of course,
Right.
checking them and making sure they're accurate is a lot of work. But yeah, absolutely, Christine, using AI at any stage is fine. We should definitely be using AI to help us.
Yep. Okay. Thank you, Jim. Yeah. Yeah. I think you and I we should catch up with a 101.
Oh,
I'll try to set it up next week, and then
yeah,
I think maybe later this year I can do more, contribute more,
okay,
especially on this task force, on this task.
great. Very good. All right. Well, so I'm going to stop recording in a minute, but let me see. Antonio, did that make sense? So we're continuing to generate questions. That's our assignment.
A lot of sense, Gene. I
Very
engage in this idea.
good. Very good.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh, and I have some point related to this that I will send to you,
Okay.
and then we can discuss or talk to about.
Fantastic. And yeah, let's try to use Slack for communication to reduce the amount of emails we get because Slack is
Okay.
fantastic. We can do direct messages, private one-on-ones.
Mhm,
But if there's things we want to share with the community, we can put it in general or ambassadors. So
mhm.
great, Antonio. Look forward to your feedback. And Michelle, well, Michelle is on mute and maybe off and we're over time. But Michelle, any comments, questions?
Oh, I no, I'm all inspired and excited. I think I've got a next round of thinking. I went down a supply chain rat hole in my mind, but I'm looking forward to talking to you, Jim, on Wednesday, the last Wednesday of this month. So, no,
Very
exciting, and I see it better. Christine's questions always help me enormously, and I'm thrilled with Seitan's work. That's great, just seeing it come down to specific questions. And yay for question two, answer B, personally. That was, yeah, very nice. Good
very
work, great progress, and I grasp the timing and I'll start noodling.
Yeah,
great.
and Jim, I think just for planning purpose,
Mhm.
once we kind of know how many volunteers we have, maybe we should divvy it up. Like it would be ideal we have experts from some of these industries, if not all, right? And then we can divvy up the work, and then we can say 100, say 5 people, so each come up with 20. And then in 2 months, then how many per week, right? And then after 2 months, we review and then generate more, right? Revise and generate new ones. We sort of, I think leverage this cadence is a monthly call. But
Right.
then weekly, we should kind of have a stand up sort of, not a stand up, but in Slack, kind of just status report, to Jim and everybody else, right? So here's another, 5, here's another, 3, right? So just to keep the momentum going.
Yeah, yeah. People can, anyone in ISIP, any participant, volunteer in ISIP can do more.
Yeah,
I'll make sure we do our third Wednesday of the month, but please, if
right.
you have ideas and other people you can recruit and get more done, fantastic. And that'd be great. All right. I think we're at the end of our time here, and I will go ahead and end the meeting. But thank you all for joining. Thank you for the discussion and comments, all fantastic. And we'll keep chipping away and we'll get this done. Bye for
Thank
now.
you,
Thank you.
Antonio, for your homework. Great stuff.
Okay, yeah, I have
Yeah.
a little more. Okay, thank you for all things. I will keep in touch with all of you. I'll be here for share anything that you maybe I can help. Thank you.
You
Have
all.
a
Yeah,
great
thanks,
day.
Tim, for your leadership.
Yep,
Yeah,
bye
thanks,
for
Tim.
now.
Thank
Yeah.
you.